Hey everybody, welcome to episode 9 of the Sugar Chronicles. Wow, it's been a long time since we've done a post in this area and subject. October of 2017 was the last one. So I'm sure no one will be surprised to hear that the struggles continue. So I've aptly named this episode Sugar Me Sick. In the past 9 months, I have done a lot of research on sugar. I have done a lot of research with my cohort from Two Bitches on a Bench on meat issues, gluten issues, vegan, vegetarian, all sorts of things like that. And I'm again started on a new path again, which is all encompassing to take better care of the foods that I'm consuming, and also taking a bit more care and digging further into the foods that are being fed to at Wolfington's Post, for those of you who follow him. This episode will be short and brief. It's just more of a dumping, I guess, for myself on my whole sugar issue and how bad it got yet again. Every time I try to quit the sugar or cut down on it, and I think that I'm okay and I've tackled the demon, I'll have something, a decadent piece of cake or a chocolate bar or some gummy candies, and bang, I've fallen off the wagon and I'm back into my entire sugar addiction, worse than ever before. So I was doing pretty good, and then I don't even know what triggered it. I started a new job back in March, and this particular office, not so much in the summertime now, thank goodness, but when I first started during the still late winter, early spring months, several times a week there would be treats in the kitchen. Timbits, full-on donuts, cookies, candy, all sorts of things. So after Easter, some of the staff would be bringing in Easter candies that were left over from their kids or that they had gotten and didn't want to eat, and just all sorts of things. So it was a constant temptation. And my office is situated extremely close to the kitchen, so I know when treats are there, and it's almost like they're calling my name and saying, "Waiting for you, come and get me." And because I didn't want to let on that I'm as bad of a sugar addict as I am, I would sneak into the kitchen when I was sure no one was coming, grab something quickly, put it in a napkin, and sneak it back to my office and eat it when no one was around. Terrible habit to be into. Then came a trip to Los Angeles, which I love LA, and there's a few places there that I always have to hit. And it was actually during the last couple of days there, and maybe it was a combination of everything, but had gone to the Santa Monica Pier and had fries there, which isn't bad. That's okay, but they're deep fried, which isn't great on the other side of the scale. Then there is a fabulous candy store on the 3rd Street Promenade that it's a must for me to go in there. and it's one of those that you grab a bag and you fill the bag with all the candies that you want. So I did that, and I got everything from chocolate to gummies to licorice to sour candies to you name it, I got it. And then, what else did I have that day? Oh, I had, there's also an ATM machine for cupcakes. So I had to go and get my cupcake out of the ATM machine, and I had that. So along with everything, and then nibbling on this candy constantly all day, by the time I got back to the hotel that night, hadn't even had dinner yet, and I sat down for a few minutes and something was wrong. Something was very, very, very wrong. And I just was not feeling well at all. And I was sick to my stomach from all of the junk that I ate. And it was at that point that I vowed, no more. No more sugar, no more candies, no more cupcakes, no more junk. And the rest of the candies that I had bought were disposed of. Thankful to my traveling companion for doing that. And ironically, getting back on the plane, I was regretful for having that candy thrown out. So that my remorsefulness of being sick to my stomach didn't last that long, is my point. But I still vowed to myself that when I got home, I was going to clean up my act, and I was going to, focus and stay away from the junk food, stay away from Bulk Barn, stay away from buying chocolate bars in my grocery run, all of that kind of stuff. So over the course of, I guess that was at the end of May. So June, July, and we're just into August, so we won't say anything about August. Oh, this makes it worse now that I'm saying this out loud. June and July, I have gone through multiple packages of black licorice. I won't even say how many. And that would be what they call the family pack. I have divulged 4 packs of chocolate bars. I have, I haven't bought cookies per se, but I've made puffed wheat square. I've made another sort of square that's made with cornflakes, Rice Krispies, chocolate chips, and corn syrup. I've made probably, several of those, eaten them all myself. It's just been, it's been terrible. It's been terrible, the stuff that I have consumed. Not to mention other things like eating out constantly, potato chips, things like that. And here we are in prime fresh produce season, and I'm, filling my face with crap. So I have developed a severe sugar belly. I will be totally honest, and I have a challenge going on with a friend of mine that we are telling each other each of our meals, divulging all of our snacks, and we each took our respective measurements. She weighed herself. I took my measurements between my waist and my sugar belly to see what they were at, and there is a 3-inch difference, and that just mortified me. I'm absolutely mortified. And I guess I've come to the realization that time has caught up with me, and all of my years of abusing sugar, my sweet nemesis has started to creep up, and it's catching up with me, and I can't lose those extra added pounds or the bloating and things like that as easily as I used to. So I have decided that I am going to pay very strict attention to what I'm eating what I'm buying, what is going into my body, and how much I'm eating of things. And the other thing that I've come across is that I can't be trusted to go to the grocery store alone. I will be honest about that. I've also told my friend that if I don't send her an update on what I've had for lunch or dinner, breakfasts usually aren't a problem for me, but if I send her a message, if I stay silent on breakfast or dinner and she asks and I tell her that I had nothing, or I ate leftovers, I'm telling her right now beforehand that 95% of that time I'll be lying, because I'll have had something that I shouldn't have. And I've told her to be sure that she calls me out on it, because it's not healthy and it's not good, and I'm really trying to be more mindful of my body and what I'm putting in it. And the other part of that too is, a lot of times when maybe I'm having a cookie or a piece of cake or something, at Whiffington's Post we'll get a little treat of that as well. And considering he's a whopping 3 pounds, every little bit probably affects him quite significantly. And I feel terrible that I've done this to him as well. And the interesting thing is that I've noticed how it affects him almost immediately. He gets very excitable and growly and barky, and almost not irritable, but close to being irritable just after he's had something sweet. So it kind of put it into perspective, and it also horrified me that, this poor little innocent guy that relies on me to give him all of his care, I think that I'm giving him his little treat, and it affects him that way. So it's going to stop, and I've started following several vegan and vegetarian Instagram pages. I'm going to work really hard at cutting back on calorie intake. And the other thing that I wanted to mention as well is my overall way of being. And by the end of a work day, by the time I get home, which is anywhere between 4:15 or 5:30, doesn't really matter. Whatever time I get home, I need a nap. And my naps are, it's not a quick cat nap for 10 or 20 minutes. It's like 2 hours, which cuts into a great portion of the evening. And then when I get up, I have to figure out what I'm going to have for dinner. And that has usually ended up being something ridiculous like takeout, or what else will I have? Just kind of crappy stuff with not a ton of nutrition, maybe crackers or popcorn, something like that. And once in a while that's okay, but not 4 to 5 times a week. So it's time to take charge and get with it, and be aware of what's coming home in my grocery bags, and what I am feeding my body. And little at Whiffington's Post is going to be eating his own food, and I want to pay more attention to what the food that I've been buying for him, what's in it as well. The other part of this whole journey has been my grocery shopping, which I go with good intentions. I go with a list, I buy healthy stuff, and then because I end up eating out, all of the food that I buy, the produce, and if I buy milk or anything like that, it ends up going in the garbage. So I did a quick calculation, and over the past probably 4 months, with the amount of compost that I have taken down to the garbage room in the condo building where I live, I'm guessing I waste at least half of my grocery budget a month. Half. And that's terrible. And then you tack on to that the fact that I've bought groceries, but I'm also getting takeout. And that horrified me as well. When I was thinking about the dollar amount attached to that, it was like, holy moly, that's crazy. So I need to be very aware of what's going on, and I have decided that I will make menus for myself every Sunday for the week. I'm going to stick very closely to those menus, and no more eating out, no more skip the dishes, where something that probably, if you went and picked it up, might cost $20 by the time you pay the courier fee and the tip and all of that kind of stuff. You're looking at $30 to $35 later, which is crazy. The way I've always justified that to myself is, oh, that's okay because I get 4 meals out of it, but it's just, I'm justifying to myself and I'm hurting myself. So the whole gist of this podcast is just to do a purge and a cleansing for myself and what I feel guilty about, and that it has to stop. And I am a sugar addict, and I always will be, and I have to stop fooling myself and saying that, well, it's only one, or I'll start tomorrow, or I'll be better, or no one's gonna know. I know, and I'm the one that has to matter to me, and I've got to remember that. So I've decided that I need to go cold turkey for a very long while, maybe forever, and I really need to attempt to get over this huge problem. And it needs to become one of my OCD things that I get into, like my steps, for those of you who know that I am a stepaholic, or things that I get crazy about where everything has to be in a certain spot, or my routine in the morning can't be altered. It's bang right on to the very minute. I need to get this sugar addiction to that point as well. And I know that if I let myself have anything, even a substitute, that'll be it, and I will trigger that deep, dark sugar demon within me, and I'll be back to candy and sweets again. And if I do that, I'll only be cheating myself, not anybody else. So it's got to stop. And this sugar belly, which I have named Bertha, has outstayed her welcome, and she's got to go. So stay with me on my journey. I'll update you soon, and wish me luck. Thanks for listening, and please do, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'd welcome any comments. If anybody out there has any advice to offer, anything at all, I would be more than grateful to hear it. Maybe we can set out on a journey together, become sugar buddies, or at least lend an ear or a shoulder to someone who needs it. So thanks again for listening, and take care. And again, this is episode 9 of the Sugar Chronicles, and we'll be back again soon.